Donald Trump is going deeper and deeper into Fantasyland, and you can tell that by this next particular clip, and I guess the marching orders that he's given to his surrogates and people that speak in his behalf, surrogates or supporters. Check this out.
There's one more thing you might have questions about: Trump's evolving view of the debate moderator. Right after the debate on Monday night, Trump was glowing. I thought Lester Holt did a great job. On Tuesday night, not as glowing. I'd give him a C, C+. I thought he was okay. By Wednesday night, a lot of people thought he was terrible. And now the campaign is labeling him, quote, an activist moderator. And at a New Hampshire rally moments ago, Trump called the debate rigged. Which brings us to tonight's big question. What is going on inside the Trump campaign? Well, for answers, to his credit, I am joined by the Senior Communications Director, Jason Miller. Jason, you're on the record here. You're a face, no anonymous quotes. Is everything perfectly hunky-dory, or is there something to all of these anonymous blind quotes?
Well, Chuck, thanks for having me on. And first off, I'd like to offer my thoughts and prayers to everybody hurt in New Jersey today. It's devastating news for everybody who's involved. With regard to the campaign, we're in great shape, Chuck. And I'm not sure who some of these sources are that are talking to these news outlets. I don't know if they have found their own snuffleupagus or someone only they can see. But it's ridiculous. We have a very unified campaign, unified candidate. We feel very good. And so, look, there are always people who are going to be outside of the room or outside of the campaign that look to go and attack Mr. Trump. That's just the way it is. But we're in good shape and we're feeling pretty confident.
Well, talk to me about debate prep. Is it going to be different this time?
Of course we're going to have debate prep. Mr. Trump's going to be ready again. So
Trump wasn't ready the last time. And I might have been able to swallow, that load of horse crap that you dropped. But you said everything was fine. And everything obviously isn't fine. He got his butt kicked in that debate.
Going into this last debate, I think one of the things to keep in mind is that there are 3 debates. We're going to go through the presidential debate process. I think it's probably safe to say that most in the media thought that Mr. Trump would stumble and wouldn't do well in this first debate. He did very well. In fact, he exceeded expectations.
What were expectations? What made him exceed expectations? Bragging about not paying taxes?
I think expectations. It was very clear that he's the agent of change coming into this campaign. He's the one that's going to turn the country around. He's the one that's going to keep us safe. Those are really our 2 main goals coming into this, and I think we're able to accomplish it.
Why do you think multiple polls, scientific polls, have said Hillary Clinton won that debate by 2-to-1 margin? I mean, it's not even been close.
All right, well, I got to say you straight on that one. The polls that happened that night, the night of the debate, the snap polls, the ones that happened online, those all showed Mr. Trump winning in a huge way.
What scientific?
And he's right. But the thing about those polls that he's talking about, those are polls done by sites like Breitbart and other white supremacist sites. And they had Trump winning by large margins. But the thing about those sites is, number one, they're not scientific because you can vote if you choose to and want to take the time to do it. You could sit there and vote 1,000 times, you as a single individual, and your vote will, count 1,000 times. The scientific polls, they make sure that it's one person, one vote. Okay, so those snap polls that are unscientific, you can throw those all out the window. But this gentleman chooses not to do so. And Chuck Todd calls him on it, and he's basically laughing because he knows what Chuck is saying is true, but since he works for Trump, he can't admit it.
The poll had Donald Trump winning. Give me one scientific poll. Everything else was those are fan polls, man. Those are polls that computer programmers can mess with. Those aren't real
reactions. Those are a snapshot of what people are thinking who are actually watching the debate. Now the NBC Survey Monkey poll, to go after that one because I figured you're probably going to go to that one next.
That's methodologically sound, but go ahead.
Both Monday and Tuesday. So then Tuesday is influenced by all the debate coverage the next day, which of course the media is going to try to hype up Hillary Clinton and make it seem like she won. Not the case at all. People who are watching thought that Mr. Trump won that debate.
Where is the evidence that people who were? I mean,
there was time. There was variety.
Those are all like robot polling. It's
Those
not
are
real polling.
Chuck, we have the
they're
support of the
not.
people.
I mean,
again, I understand that Hillary support from.
Chuck must be friends with this guy because he's letting this guy try to explain why these bullshit polls aren't bullshit polls. But, you know, Chuck is telling them, you and I both know that those polls don't mean jack. They're bullshit polls. And this guy keeps trying to defend them.
From the insiders and from the media, Mr. Trump's going to support
I don't mean
it,
it,
and from the people.
Hey, Jason, you've been doing this a while. You know those are bogus. You know these are bogus. There's nothing. They're beyond non-scientific. In fact, you have evidence. There's some evidence that there are computer programs that help refresh. All you have to do is like empty your history and you get to vote again. They're not real, Jason.
Chuck, the energy and the enthusiasm in this race is all with Mr. Trump. You look at it today. Mr. Trump in New Hampshire, several thousand.
Okay, so now he just went off, got away from the polls, and now he's on the energy side. And people showing up to rallies is no indication of how the voting's going to go. Ask Mitt Romney about that. There are a lot of candidates that generate a lot of energy. Hell, ask Bernie Sanders. He had huge crowds, but he still lost, even though it was rigged against him.
People in attendance. Hillary Clinton in Iowa, what did she get? A little over 1,000. I mean, every time Mr. Trump had 12,000 in Melbourne last night or the night before. The energy and excitement is all with our campaign. We're going to continue to show that over and over. I mean, we're seeing it with Hillary.
I want to talk about some of these, like, what part of the debate was rigged? Why does he think the debate was rigged?
Well, take a look at the second half of the debate. I mean, look at the questions. Really, the operative thing here is the fact that Hillary wasn't asked a number of questions. You look at especially that second half of the debate with the follow-ups that were coming to Mr. Trump, it is ridiculous. First half of the debate, I think Lester did a much more fair job. The second half of the debate, I mean, it is pretty clearly stacked to Hillary Clinton.
So he's saying the first half of the debate wasn't rigged, but the second half of the debate was. And it's the same guy who happens to be a Republican. Yeah, right.
Nobody's telling Donald Trump what to say at a debate, correct? He can say whatever he wants to say.
But again, his focus, talk about his message and his vision, and he did just that.
If he did that, then how come he didn't win these debate polls?
Well, because no, he did win the debate polls.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did, Chuck. I mean, over and over, there were like 7 or 10 of these things.
There have been 2 scientifically conducted polls that have asked the question about the debate. It's not even been close.
No, the NBC one Monday and Tuesday, then that's all being influenced by the post-debate coverage, which is going to be stacked against him in the first place.
All right.
So come on.
So how do you explain away CNN's snap poll? How?
Come on, CNN gets a lot of things wrong. I mean.
Oh, he can't explain that away, so he's just going to claim they just got that wrong. Yeah, right.
You know, I can speak a little more specifically to the NBC one, which is over the 2 days. Look, I mean, I'll take the 7+ polls that all showed Mr. Trump winning big time. That's what we think is a much more accurate reflection of what happened on Monday night.
He thinks the bullshit polls are more accurate than the scientific polls. Trump really has these guys spinning on their heads.
Do you have any concern that he also has been talking about Google being rigged as well? I mean, there is a constant theme here that when things don't go well, something is rigged. Well, something is rigged. That is not the best way to instill confidence in our democracy. Well, why does he do that?
Well,
he does it because he can't accept the fact that he's getting his ass kicked or got his ass kicked in that poll, and he can't accept the fact that he's losing. So anytime there's a poll that comes out that says he's losing, he says he doesn't believe the poll's rigged. When a poll comes out where he's winning, that's got to be the greatest poll in the world. So then the following week, when that same poll says he's losing, he reverts right back and says that poll is rigged. Donald Trump is delusional.
Take a step back real quick, because one of the biggest things what we're talking about is I see the questions on Mr. Trump. But and this is part of the Clinton spin machine game. They don't want to talk about Hillary. I mean, Hillary she had a pretty rough debate. Took it on the chin on the TP.
Yeah, she had a pretty rough debate for the first 30 minutes. But she turned it around and kicked his ass for the next 60.
Question, the 30 years hit was a big one. That's something that's been resonating. We've seen the articles over and over, her challenges with millennials, her challenges with African-American voters. Things, I mean, Hillary's either, at best.
Her challenges with African-American voters, Trump wishes he had the level of support that she's getting. True, She's not getting Obama level support, especially from the black millennials, but she's pulling down easy 70+%. Trump is not even pulling double digits. So he wishes he could change places with her as far as the minority votes are concerned.
Trailing or tied in some of these states. That's that's where I think the race is right now.
Is there any concern that you have that you're painting? I mean, there's a lot of people that say if you don't accept the fact that the debate wasn't a good one, then you cannot convince him to perform better in the second one.
He's going to do great in the second one. I think he'll win the second one. I think he'll win the third one.
Do you believe the debate preparation was adequate going into the first debate?
I think Mr. Trump is ready. I think he'll be ready again.
Do you believe it was adequate going into the first debate?
I think he was fully prepared, and he'll be fully prepared again.
And
he wasn't prepared. That's the whole point. That's what everybody's telling you guys.
I feel very good about that.
Are you going to have mock debates this time? Because there are supporters. We've talked to his supporters at a rally in Melbourne who all thought he did poorly. That's what I don't understand why you guys can't accept.
Chuck, that's
by the way, people
picking on that.
But there's plenty of evidence when people lose a debate. I just don't understand why we're like creating a reality that doesn't exist.
Chuck, I think you're seeing things just completely differently. I mean, look at Hillary and the problems that she has with her own base right now. I mean, you can go.
By the way, we covered that story. We're not talking about Hillary Clinton. We're talking about Donald Trump. He had an opportunity at the debate, and there was plenty of people that I've talked to anonymously in your world that said there were missed opportunities. Do you agree there were missed opportunities by Donald Trump?
No. He came out of that debate.
He didn't miss a single opportunity. It was a perfect debate.
I think he did excellent.
See, that's when you know that this guy's delusional, and there's no sense in even talking to this guy or asking him any questions, because as far as he was concerned, everything is rosy in Trump land, which it isn't. Trump did a perfect job, which he didn't, and they're going to win the election, obviously, which they won't, especially if he keeps going on like this.
And he drew the clear contrast. He's the outsider. She's the insider. He's the one who's going to bring change. She's the one who wants the status quo. That was a win.
I'm going to go back to the Google thing. Do you guys have any real evidence here?
Well, there's an article on that over the summer.
An article from Sputnik? An article from a Russian?
There's an article in Breitbart.
A Russian news agency that started this?
There's an article in Breitbart.
Whenever anybody brings up Breitbart, you need to turn them off immediately. Every time I go online and get into discussions with people and they cite Breitbart, I always ask them if they can cite somebody else that's non-alt-right, a legitimate source, even a conservative legitimate source. And that's how you basically shut them down.
I love the attempt on the Russia. No, but we're not going to play the Russia uranium game. But
okay, but do you have evidence of this?
There's an article in Breitbart on that.
Does that make it true?
Summer. That means that it's definitely raised the issue, of course.
But there's raised
anything that comes out of Breitbart. If I were going to bet any kind of money, I would bet that it's false, and I would win more times than I lose.
The issue, if it's true, do you have evidence beyond a report that claims this? Did you guys done your own study on this?
Didn't do our own study, but it's a report that's out in the public. I mean, of course,
just because something is out there doesn't mean it's truthful.
Raise the issue. So it makes you wonder.
I have a feeling we should let it go here. Jason Miller, appreciate you coming on. It's always interesting to spar with you.
Thanks, Jeff.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, see, and like I said, when you got somebody that's that locked in and can't accept reality, you're basically just wasting your breath talking to them or, discussing things, arguing with them, etc. Because you can't win with someone who's not living in reality.